Recording in progress.
He's recording, yes.
Yeah,
I'm not recording. No, go on. It's only messing about. That's all.
What's it for?
I know. What is it?
Is it because Boris Johnson says we shouldn't wear masks?
That's it. That's all it is.
Oh, wow.
Right, but I certainly catching on.
I would actually love to see the press conferences with one of them wearing that mask you're holding, Brian. I think we'd make it.
So come on, let's have some description here. Let's get a bit of a description on here.
Well, it's made with paper,
Right.
PVA.
All right, yes.
I put it over I put paper over a balloon.
Right.
I blew the balloon up.
Right.
Put paper over it, and then I just covered it with PVA, watered down.
Okay.
PVA and let it dry.
And have you drawn a picture on it, or is it?
Yeah, it's got eyes. And once the outside is dry, then you can just keep adding to it.
So I just added eyes for that.
It's currently blue.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, papier-mâché and masks were a big thing back in Alban. You're roughly my age.
In my
back
day,
in the 70s, it was a big thing. Your mum would let you
in the 50s
go mad.
classroom, I remember it well.
Let you go mad with papier-mâché, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all bits of newspaper.
Yeah. So
good.
You're going to wear that instead of you stop your breathing germs mask when you go out,
I was thinking of putting it on when I go on the bus tomorrow.
Yeah.
I like that idea, yeah.
That's a smashing idea, that.
Brilliant. Anyway, something we did last week, which I think everyone enjoyed really, before Paul or David or Zoe or anyone shares anything of their own, is it's nice to hear a song by a local musician, and bit like
you played some brilliant stuff last week.
A jukebox jury or something like that, isn't it? Really.
You played some brilliant stuff. I've been hold of it.
Let me press the magic buttons.
Before my time.
That was jukebox jury.
That was jukebox jury. Dwayne Eddy.
That was the music.
It was.
Yeah. Just bear with me a sec, because I need to put me music sharing thing up.
I'll give it 5.
I'll give it 5.
Well, actually, yes. Paul's quite right. Actually, last week we were a bit spoiled really, because I think all 3 or 4 songs I played in the evening, they were all good, stunning. Weren't they? So
they were stunning. I still want to get hold of them. There was
I'm going to email some down to you. I was just genuinely a bit tied up over the last week, which is good. No worry about it. No, it's good. Yeah. So this is a band called Stick in the Wheel, which I'm hoping Paul's heard of. They're a London-based band, actually. London-based band. And because you sang the songs you sang last week, I thought would do something from one of their albums. This is simply called The Blacksmith.
Let's hear it. He's gone already.
Oh, hold on. It's not going out, is it?
Come in, Tone.
It's not going, is it?
No, it's not.
No, I've pressed.
Anybody out there?
No. I did this last week, didn't I? It's typical of what's called doing things in the right order.
Gremlins.
Yeah, something like that.
Gremlins,
I didn't have the music open in the background, which you've got to do. So this is The Blacksmith by a fabulous folk band called Stick in the Wheel.
A blacksmith courted me 9 months and better. He fairly won my heart, wrote me a letter with his hammer in his hand. He looked quite clever, and if I were with my love, I'd live forever. But where is my love gone, with his cheeks like roses, and his good black billy cocker, trim with primroses. I'm afraid the scorching sun will shine and burn his beauty, and if I were with my love, I'd do my duty. Strange news has come to town, strange news is carried, strange news flies up and down, that my love is married. I wish them both much joy, though they can't hear me, and may God reward them well for the slighting of me. Don't you remember when you lay beside me and you said you'd marry me and not deny me? If I said I'd marry you, it was only for to try you. So bring your witness, love, no, not deny you. Oh, witness I have none, save God Almighty, and may He reward you well for the slighting of me. Her lips grew pale and wan, it made her poor heart tremble to think she loved the one, and he proved deceitful. A blacksmith courted me 9 months and better. He fairly won my heart, wrote me a letter with his hammer in his hand. He looked quite clever, and if I were with my love, I'd live forever.
So, guys, in no particular order, Brian, we'll go with you first. What did you think?
Well, I don't know.
That's all right.
I just really enjoyed it. No,
Yeah.
it just sort of takes you to another place.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It takes
interesting
you,
hearing
it takes you back into another
instruments and
time.
percussion that aren't in the popular domain. There's always instruments that folk artists and people who really care about music, they'll go and learn to play something like a hurdy-gurdy or something.
Or a zither.
Or a zither, yeah, Paul, I picked up a zither in a charity shop a while ago. So David's got a friend, Andrew Hesford, who may sign in at some point, and I'm going to pop up and see him later this week and see if we can get a tune out of it. In fact, we might like to meet up with David in the not too distant.
It's interesting you picked that song because it's an old song. I know that song from long ago. The first time I ever heard it was a group called Planksty.
That's right.
Group that did it. Andy Irvin was that's one of his songs. That group is very famous for people like Donald Lummy and people like Christy Moore, that's one of their songs that they sing. I'd never heard it sung like that before. Super effort, a really good effort.
She does a good job, doesn't she?
She does a super job on that.
If you've not heard them, they were a bit of an internet sensation about a month ago. Someone did a video to go with one of their latest songs, the Villain song, and it was done in that like clever animation style, very
well, it's a bit like the Weller Man, isn't it? I mean,
yes, very much.
What Nathan Evans has done, and that's a great song. If you want to dig that one out at some point, that's a great song.
But no, with you singing last week, and I was hoping you'd sing something for us this week. I thought, no,
I will. Yes, I've had a request.
Yeah,
somebody on the end of this line.
You can do one now and one later. So, Dave, as a singer, as a songwriter, what's your take on that then?
Well, it created a number of memories for me. One was just hearing the overall sound of it, as you say. Sometimes I'm hearing like instruments that aren't actually in the piece that would probably just fit in really well. I mean, I remember hearing a song from a more hard rock band that featured uilleann pipes, the Irish pipes, and I just thought that would probably sound amazing in that song if that was actually included.
Yes, I've heard that with uilleann pipes done. I've actually heard Liam O'Flynn play the uilleann pipes to that song, and it does work. It works tremendously well.
Yeah. You do just want to get up and at the very least tap your feet and become agitated listening to stuff.
Well, you'll see me clapping. Those of you who can see the camera, I put the camera on, so you can see me clapping along.
Yeah, I could. And I can hear.
Really got into that.
Yeah. And Zoe, what was your take on it?
It had this like really eerie quality. I loved it. It felt almost like ghost-like you're entering like a ghost town or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, good thought.
Yeah, definitely has an eeriness to it. Yeah, I think you spotted something with that. Yeah, and Alban, you like a lot of different types of music. So was that something?
Yeah,
go off and see live?
It's a very old song. It's a very old song, and it's one which I've heard lots of times. And like Planksty was a good call because they sang it very well. It wasn't the most tuneful version. I
Agreed.
I think it was quite strident. So when Paul said that the Wicker Man about a different song, that made a really good connection with it.
Yeah,
I can imagine playing that dancing around a bonfire.
Yes,
but it's a powerful song, and if you're in the mood for it, yeah. Though I prefer I'm more sort of soft song. I'm more Simon and Garfunkel and Judy Collins and Planksty in this case.
Yeah, no,
it almost sounded ritualistic as well.
Yes, it was. It is quite a ritualistic song.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think Paul, as you kindly agreed instantly at joining us tonight, that you treat us to a rendition of something, and you're taking requests, which is cool.
I'm taking requests now. The person requesting it has got a Z in their name. And I think we might know who it is.
So is this something you've told Zoe about, or she just said, "Do you know such a song?"
No, she's actually heard me do it.
I've heard it.
Yeah,
and
it's really good.
And it is the one that you wanted. I've been off rehearsing it for the last hour because I got it.
Oh, you were good, man. You were very good, man.
This is a cautionary tale. It is an Irish song. It's written by a man called Noel Murphy, who actually now lives in Cornwall, if he is still alive. I hope he is. He lives now in Cornwall. He has lived there for a long time. But he wrote this song, and it's a cautionary tale about a builder. And he had an unfortunate accident. And he's writing this as he is lying in an hospital after his accident. It's known, and you'll probably all know it, and Alban certainly will, as a man of folk tradition. I'm sure David will as well. So most of you will. It's called Murphy and the Bricks. And here's how it goes. Dear sir, I write this note to you to tell you of me plight. And at the time of writing, I am not a pretty sight. Me body is all black and blue, me face a deathly grey. And I write this note to say why Murphy's not at work today. While working on the 14th floor, some bricks I had to clear. To throw them down from such a height was not a good idea. The foreman wasn't very pleased, he is an awkward sod, and he said I'd have to cart them down the ladders in me hod. Now shifting all these bricks by hand, it was so very slow, so I hoisted up a barrel and secured the rope below. But in me haste to do the job, I was too blind to see that a barrel full of building bricks was heavier than me. So when I untied the rope, the barrel fell like lead, and clinging tightly to the rope, I started up instead. I shot up like a rocket, till to my dismay I found Halfway up, I met the bloody barrel coming down. Well, the barrel broke my shoulder as to the ground it sped. And when I reached the top, I banged a pulley with me head, still clinging tightly to the rope. My body racked with pain, and halfway down I met the bloody barrel once again. And the barrel then had been heavier. It started down once more, and it landed right across me as I lay upon the floor. It broke 3 ribs, my left arm, and I can only say that I hope you'll understand why Murphy's not at work today.
Brilliant. It's a total comedy of errors, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
I bombed out 3 verses because it just got me. I bombed out 3
don't
verses.
worry. Don't worry. What you did was superb, honestly.
I've had days like the subject of that song.
Now, bear in mind, Paul, and I'm sure you don't mind me saying this, you have to genuinely, utterly learn what you perform.
Yeah, I've just done it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at words or anything
so Zoe will read a poem for us, now or later, but she's probably got it written down in front of her. And Alban will...
Oh, I know she has.
Alban shares, classic poetry with us. Do you ever write any of your own, Alban, or is it all just your love of words and poetry?
I have done, but I've never found myself very good at it, so I've not really persisted.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes you've got to find out if you're good or not good. I mean, David has to remember what he sings, but as a sighted performer, Dave, you might have an iPad cunningly hidden, at the side of stage that you could refer to for lyrics, might you not?
I wish I did, but I'll have to see to that at some stage in the future once live music comes back.
I have seen people with iPads attached to music stands nowadays. Obviously with their lyrics on.
They've got a bit of backup.
Yeah. But Paul can't do that. That was the point. That was the thing, for Paul there. No matter how well rehearsed you are, if your little head can't find the next line, you can't pick up the book and go, oh, where am I up to? You're totally stuck, aren't you?
The best way to make something up is just...
Well, you almost did. I mean, did he break his shoulder? Was that actually in the original lyric?
Yes, he did actually break his shoulder. Yeah. And basically what happened, there was a line about the fact that basically the barrel broke his shoulder, spilt out half the bricks, which then made him heavier than the barrel. And he hit the barrel on the way down and then landed on the bricks. And then the barrel hits the pulley wheel. So he's lying on the ground and then the barrel hits the pulley wheel and the bottom bursts. And all the rest of the bricks come down on top of him. Yeah. And then he lets go of the rope because he's in so much pain. And then the barrel comes down on top of him as well. So he's got the lot.
Now, if only we knew someone who was good at computer animation, you could sing that and you could have an amazing Tom and Jerry animation.
Yes, you could.
It'd be brilliant.
You could.
The old Hanna-Barbera.
We're going to have to find somebody like that, really, aren't we?
Well, I'm sure we can eventually. It would be good, wouldn't it? So Alban will be delving into his poetry archive. Are you going to find a couple of pieces to share with us during the course of the evening?
A couple of readings in case, but neither of them are poetry.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I was just going to say about that. I was going to say about that song. It is one I know because it's one the Corries used to sing.
Yes,
I'm probably the world's biggest Corries fan.
I love the Corries.
Well, me and Paul, anyway.
Yeah. I love the Corries, and there's lots of their songs I could do.
Yeah.
I immediately think of Lardy Dum and things like that. They do a lot of comical songs. They do actually one called The Folker.
Yeah.
Which is done to the tune of The Boxer.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I'll have to.
You've got to be careful. I'm assuming you don't drink a lot when you perform, Paul.
I have to drink because it keeps me going.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you drink too many whiskies and you start mispronouncing.
It's not always. Yes, and no.
But as long as you make it sound like that's where it's supposed to sound, really, it shouldn't matter too much.
Yes, the Folker, and Alban will know this. it's I don't know. I think Roy Williamson wrote it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but he wrote a lot, didn't he? Including Flower of Scotland.
He wrote The Flower of Scotland. Yes,
yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
People forget that. It's only written in 1965. People think it's been around for hundreds of years.
It's a lovely song, though, isn't it?
Well, Flower of Scotland's a fantastic song.
Yeah. Lovely song, yeah. So, David, we're going to put you on the spot now, because I think I saw lurking under your arm. Was that a guitar down there, or a mandolin, or something?
No, nothing at the time.
You're not there. I thought you were. Oh, I thought you were tuned up and ready. You see.
No, it was this. It's a bottle of Pepsi, but I can't play that better.
Oh no. Well, actually, you can. You take the lid off, and if you're careful, you blow across the top. You could do, them fellas that get really annoying playing the panpipes outside of Sainsbury's.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
Yeah, we could all do that.
You're reminding me of a Simpsons episode, constantly blowing over a jug.
Okay, well, if you have a little think about something you want to perform in a few minutes. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to share my screen properly in the right order this time, and I'm going to go to my Facebook page, and I'm going to play this that Brian sent this to me back in May.
If I loved you time and again, I would try to say, oh, I want you to know. If I loved you, words wouldn't come in an easy way. Round in circles I'd go, longing to tell you, but afraid and shy. I'd let my golden chances pass me by. Soon you leave me, off you would go in the mist of day. Never, never to know how I love you. If I love you. Longing to tell you, but afraid and shy. I let my golden chances pass me by. Soon you leave me, off you would go in the mist of pain. Never, never to know how I love you. If I loved you.
So, Brian, that a blast from your past.
That's a stunner.
It's lovely, isn't it?
That is a stunner. I'm singing that to somebody very special on the end of this line, and I.
Are you now? So Brian's been
every day.
involved in books, music, poetry, and art for a while. So that was a very good friend of yours that you recorded that with, Brian, wasn't it?
Oh, it just brought me to tears practically again. Well, it did. No, because he passed away last year, didn't he?
Ah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, he was with. Did you ever hear of a group of lads who were like the first boy band the Poldark kid.
Yes.
From Liverpool.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Terry Boccino.
Oh, yes.
As you look at the screen, Terry Boccino was on the right. When you see him perform, and he was on the right-hand side as you're looking at.
He was the fellow that wrote that.
He was my friend on guitar. He was playing guitar for me.
Right. That was special, mate. I tell you, her rare.
It was lovely.
Well, that song to me, I mean, I only like to sing songs that mean something to me from the heart. And I used to sing that when I was like 12 years of age, 14 years of age, in the house on my own, because it just conjured up all sorts of stuff to me. And there's a few songs like that, like on the little CD album that I made. The songs on there are special to me.
I want a copy of that.
Well, I'll be finally seeing Brian.
Well, you can have one. I'll give one to Tony, and then Tony can.
No, I'll post it down to you, Paul. Don't worry. But no, I was going to do you a wee transfer of some of the music.
Yeah, no,
you played last week.
There was a couple of tracks I like the Alison Benson track.
Well, I'm gonna treat you to another bit of Alison in a short while. I
just want to tell Brian, because I don't think he was on when I signed in. I just wanted to say, Brian, I've been singing night and day for a week.
Really?
Having listened to you sing it last, I think I've never heard a version like that before.
What
did I say to you, Zoe? What did I say to you after last week? We talked about it, didn't we?
I think there was Purest magic came into it.
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
It was absolute magic. And last week was very special, a special week, wasn't it?
It was. It was lovely. I mean, we all met you as well. So
that's very kind of you.
But but it was. It's a different kind of music what you present, and I love all kind of music.
Well, I think that's one of the things that a more local gathering and local radio can do. Not against national radio, because it is what it is, and it serves many
I'm
people.
Against national radio, and I work in radio, so I can say
okay. Well, we were being a tiny bit diplomatic, but we can more or less play what we want when we want, and it's not, if someone sends me a CD or an MP3 or whatever format they send it in these days, at some point we will be able to play it. I've got friends who, like Alison Benson, you mentioned a minute ago, Paul, brilliant singer, brilliant songwriter.
Superb.
Probably never been played on the two major stations in Liverpool, though. And yet she's from Liverpool. She's writing
what
about
are the
Liverpool.
Two major stations? I can't say it, I suppose.
Well, Merseyside and City, they're called.
Right, yes, so Radio Merseyside.
Yeah, Radio Merseyside and BBC One, and Radio City are the standard. Commercial one
was until Capital took it over.
Capital, Capital are the owner now, aren't they? Well, it's an open comment. I mean, we're all entitled to have an opinion on sport, music, anything, aren't we? Really, and in a way, it's theirs to address the issue, not us. We're merely saying what we think as individual people, really, aren't we?
Yeah, and we voice our opinion. If we don't listen, then they don't get listeners, and it's just as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy with 80 listeners. We'd much rather have 800, but 80 is great. They're people who care about what we're doing.
We've got a man here who we've got a man.
Listener.
Yes, we've got a man here who's 80, so 80 is very good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm happy with 80.
It's quality rather than quantity.
I bet Dave and people like Dave, I bet you've played in pubs sometimes when there's you, the barman, and virtually no one else. I bet that can happen, can't it?
It can happen, yes. I mean, it depends on a number of things, whether there's a football game on, what the weather's like, or in some regards, what day it is tomorrow, because sometimes being open mics on Sunday nights, and you say, God, Monday's coming round next. It's like, do you really want to be out on Sunday night?
Yeah. And I'm not being funny, Dave. It also depends who cares.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There is an element of that in it as well. Folks out just to have a chat and a yak and drink pints and do whatever they do. Are they really bothered? You've really got to do the hard slog, as I'm sure you have, in a pub. All right, you can't smoke in a pub these days, but at least there's one good thing that you're not, you can see actually what you're doing, and you want to hope that somebody, one person picks out what you're saying. Well done, Dave. Enjoyed what you did tonight.
It is uplifting to hear that. It is uplifting to hear that, but also to sound, admittedly, on a little bit on the selfish side, there has to be some self-enjoyment for the performer too.
Yes. Oh yes.
They can't. The problem with playing something or stuff that for the sake of other people can sometimes lead to a bit of burnout, especially if you're playing one song which everyone really likes, but you're playing it continuously.
All the while.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, you start off loving the song, but then after a while, I think, I kind of do something different.
It's like the 80s reformed 80s bands who have to perform their one number hit from 1985 or whatever.
I used to work with a group, and a fellow was from Liverpool, actually, the lead man in the group. It was a folk group, they're Worcestershire based. There's a fellow called Rob Prosser. I don't even know if he's still performing.
Name is familiar.
The group was called Oberon, King of the Fairies. You know.
Yeah.
But he once said to me, he said, we did a gig, we did a festival, and we closed out. He said we do always close it out, and we ended up playing the Wild Rover 7 times in an encore.
What, in repeat or?
Yes, in repeat. Wow. In repeat.
There's one for you, Dave, for next Sunday at the open mic.
Singing the Wild Rover, dear me.
Tony, do you remember last week when I rang you after the show?
Yeah.
Remember what I said? When you played that track that you Night and Day.
Yeah.
And if you looked at the screen, I was like that.
Tony, I remember.
You're playing somebody else. It's not my. It's not
no,
my
it was
song.
You.
Do you remember? I was totally convinced it wasn't me.
It was
and
you.
I went. Oh, he's playing a wrong track.
It was you.
It was you, mate. It was you.
I was really. It took me like a quarter of the way into the song when I started listening a bit, and I thought, oh crikey, it is.
You want to be mighty proud of that, because that was
too right you do.
Thank you.
Too right you do. So Zoe, have you? It doesn't have to be anything new, but have you got something to hand that you'd like to share with us?
I think you might have.
I have. It's apologies. It's quite a long one, but
that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay. A glass slipper, perfection. Will make my dance trip, right? Fantastic. But a deep magic taking a hold. But still, my godmother smiled and waved. No mention the curse beneath. So I danced cheek to cheek. I didn't hear the casting of spells. Just please, one day I will take my rightful place, Queen of Fairyland. But he took me for the final dance, whispered, I love you, you're mine. It hit a crack, and there I was in the attic, stung by bees. The boss too took great delight in nibbling from poor Francis' fingers.
Oh, wow.
But nibble he did, till raw and bleeding, and my sting turned against me. My whispered goodbye was not heard.
That is new.
That is, yeah. Isn't that strange? You talking about Oberon and the fairies, and then Zoe referenced fairies and dancing in her.
I reckon you've just written that.
You've just written it as Paul was talking 2 minutes
earlier.
You
have, because we have
pretty much one before that, yeah.
We can let them into a little secret that she very often does write as we speak. We speak every day.
Yeah.
And she very often writes, because I'm a radio worker, I do overseas work. And very often by the time I've done my overseas work, she's written a poem. And she's done it off the cuff. All I'll say to you, as I say to you every day, when you read it, slow it down.
That's a fair point with getting your delivery speed right, isn't
it? Just slow it down a little bit.
I think with it being a long one, it's kind of like, because I'm not used to being long.
No, well,
So
you did the right thing.
Just take your time.
Zoe, you took your time, and you did the secret, as you did, is to say before you read something. This is a a short piece that'll only be about a minute, or guys, this one's a bit longer than normal. It's kind of it's 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
If you just tell people that, then that's how you people know what they're getting. Yeah.
And remember, you're among friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all here to listen.
Yeah. I mean, every week I say the same thing every week, and I'm guilty of it. I write things now, not as much as I should do, but partly because I'm bobbing around making sure you're all behaving and a few other things. I don't perform, do I?
Me not.
We never behave, Tony.
No.
It's futile.
I actually might have one of my pieces up beside me, so I'll have a look when I'm playing our next song.
Fabulous.
If I find it, I'll give you a piece I wrote a while back. So I'm going to treat us. I think Paul mentioned he was a bit of a fan of Alison Benson. So
whoa, come in.
Just bear with me.
Wow. I wish I could play piano like that.
Here we go.
Yeah. Okay.
She's awoken from her sleep. The guard shouts out, "Tickets, please." Pulls up the blind, takes in the view. Frost on the window, morning dew. I wonder who she is and where she goes. No one knows. I wonder what it is she's looking for. She's looking for. Are we the same? Strangers traveling on a train with no place to go. Does she ever smile? A million stories behind sad eyes. Just one life.
He looks up from his magazine.
Oh, that's nice.
I wonder if he's what he seems. A creased old suit, a frayed cuff, just like him in need of love. I wonder who he is and where he goes. No one knows. I wonder what it is he's looking for. He's looking for. Are we the same? Strangers traveling on a train with no place to go. Sitting alone, a million stories left untold, but just one life. And this train knows where it's going. This train knows where it's been. Its path marked out before it. Unlike those travelers it's carrying.
Are we the same? Strangers traveling on a train with no place to go. lost in time. With just one life.
That's brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. I love
Absolutely
that.
brilliant.
That's a duet with John Jenkins, and
I was going to say, I thought, was it Jenkins?
yeah,
Beautiful.
is that not lovely?
Oh,
I love that. I love that crystal clear voice that came in. That lady.
She's got a lovely
oh,
voice, hasn't she?
Stunning
Wasn't
voice.
it crystal clear, sharp, and
Yeah,
Yes,
brilliant?
yeah.
yes.
So that's from
A bit like yours, really, Brian.
yeah.
Thank you.
So they've
You're
got
too kind.
They've
You're
got
too
a
kind.
forthcoming album. John works with quite a lot of people. He's one of the lucky ones that, you know, he's retired early, so he can put music first now. I bet Dave's envious. That Dave's thinking, I wish I could pack in the day job and just be a musician full time.
That would be a dream come true for sure. I mean,
yeah.
Never say never, but it's a case of having 6 good minutes to write that song that really works. You know, I mean, it doesn't come instantly all the time.
I just clicked into something you said last week, Dave, and you're absolutely right. He's very Chris Rea.
He is, isn't he? Yeah.
He's so much.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was you that said it. He's so much his, and I was so delighted. I must say, what knocked me out as well, you got the Merry Hell track, which I know everybody enjoyed last week. That was the John Kettle track, We Need Each Other Now. I was so amazed that you clicked into it straight away before we even played it. You knew exactly what I was talking about.
Well, I think that's the thing with people who are into their music. You know, they know where things have come from and who put it together. And you know, I think that's the thing that's lacking with, again, going back to the mass market radio. They don't play a wide enough range of stuff so that people get to know more about.
Well, I remember my first job, as you just to put what you're describing, Tony, and they for a time allowed radios to be played, you know, during the general office hours, and Radio City was one of the ones that was regularly played. And don't get me wrong, not to question the quality of the songs themselves individually, some of them were really good, but as time went on, it just felt like there was like about 6, maybe 8 songs that were just being played on repeat. It's like, play us something new, you know, I mean, something different for today, you know, I mean.
Yeah, I run a risk of, because I've worked in radio for 25 years, on and off in various facets of it, I run a risk of becoming slightly political about it, because that's my job in terms of what I've done, and the ties that come around you to not play. You know, you're better off listening these days to something like Radio Broad Green, which is a hospital radio station. And one of the better ones that you'll find around the region. There are others. You know, the tagline is the best. I think it's one of the best. It says the best tonic for Liverpool, which is Radio Broad Green. I think it's a brilliant tagline, and I'm lucky enough to have had to been able to work with them on and off, and hospital radio and community radio, and Tony, you'll know from your time at HCR, you know, doing that sort of stuff, what a value that is to a small niche community. And you doing your shows, and you're doing this now. All right, it's live on Facebook, it's going to go out wherever it's going to go out, but it's so niche and it just gets things out there.
Well, I think the people that it connects to come equally as part of the show as the person broadcasting it. When I used to do the stuff at HCR with my friend Sally Ann, she does art on a Monday night, so she can't join us on a Monday night. But you know, we used to have the same people would ring in each week or email into the studio, and it was almost like you wanted them to interact and, you know, get in touch. If you had too many people interacting, you couldn't mention them or reply to them all. If you only get a few people getting in touch, You feel you get to know them, don't you? You know, it's
well,
brilliant.
You do, and this is why you've got a group this size. All right, we probably had a couple more last week, but I don't know how big you normally have this group, but you need it to be a small group because if you get above 15 people, 10, 15 people, it gets too big.
Yeah. 6 to 10 seems to be what we aim for the Zoom, and then we've always got people like Francesca, who's Brian's daughter. She is our #1 fan on
Hello,
Facebook
Francesca.
Live.
Hey, Francesca.
Waving at Francesca.
We should wave and say thank you every week. But if you don't know, Francesca runs artisan card making.
Yes, Brian was saying last week, which is a brilliant thing.
Yeah. So, you know, when people need a birthday card or a Father's Day card or Christmas or teachers leaving school type thank you card.
Divorce cards.
Oh, I've had one. Yeah, I don't think I got I think I just got a summons. I don't think I got a card.
Oh, Tony, can I just say?
Of course you can.
As I'm sitting here watching it, another mouse had just ran past me.
Really?
A mouse?
Yeah, a mouse. I caught one the other day.
Is it from your computer?
From Love it. Well, good lad, very quick. No,
a cat.
There was one the other day. I kept on seeing it running past me in the back kitchen, so I managed to catch that, but got rid of that. And then yesterday there was another one. It was a little tiny one, and I managed to get that out, let it run free. But as I'm on air now, another one just run past.
I should get yourself a cat.
Well, something. I'm just.
They're just a creature like we are, Brian. They're just smaller than we are.
Oh, I know that.
I'll get a dog.
But they're climbing on my cabinets and.
Oh no! No, you've got to be careful where they go.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Now.
So anyway, come on.
You can
get. That's why I jumped up. That's why I jumped up.
You can get humane traps now, can't you?
Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah. You know, or you just have to be really quick and grab them by the tail, and you know.
Well, they're coming from outside, and because there's no step on mine, they just come straight in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's a big run all around here. There's rats and everything. And I've had them out.
Oh my gracious!
Look, they always say we're at any time in the UK. We're only 6 foot away from at least one wild rat, aren't we?
You're absolutely right. Yes.
Well, under my fence, there's a great hole, and I keep blocking it up, and then another appears. I've had them out like 5, 6 times.
You know what they're thinking? I wish the people who lived in this garden had stopped blocking this hole. It takes us ages.
I know.
So we're putting poor Dave on the spot now. He's now got to follow the comedy interlude with a song.
Sorry, Dave.
Where are you going to take us, mate? Where are you going to take us?
Well, first off, getting tuned for a start off, because
is this the warm weather playing with the strings a bit?
Warm weather, Britain? You must be joking.
It's lovely down here in the Midlands, I can tell you.
Years ago, when all the criminals were shipped over from the UK to Australia, did they ever realise they'd be actually getting better weather for where they were going?
Quite right.
They probably think they got a better deal out of it.
Yeah.
Well, right, okay. This one, I think what to do actually. I mean, I suppose really it's kind of in relation to the announcement today. You know, of apparently we're going back to normal life, and this was kind of written back during normal life about the old daily routine of getting up and going to work. So. Yeah, I'll give it another go. Okay, well, it's called Pushing. Woke up on the wrong side of bed, clear up my lazy, sleepy head. See the clock, it fills me with dread. Running late to catch the train. The station's packed, it's just insane. Panic quickly fills my brain. Train pulls in, now comes to a stop. I can feel my own heartbeat drop. The door's now open, getting chop. Pushing, shoving, get out of my way. Pushing, shoving, I'm late today. Pushing, shoving, there ain't no room. Train's now full, there's another one soon. Standing on the platform, wasting time. Made to wait is such a crime. Each second feels like a lifetime. This train is taking much too long. Is it late or is something wrong? Gotta be ready when it comes along. Pushing, shoving, get out of my way. Pushing, shoving, I'm late today. Pushing, shoving, there ain't no room. Train's now full, there's another one soon. The next train finally pulls in. Wonder where the hell it has been. Doors open up, let the fun begin. Hold it together, gaze at the floor. As I reach that open door, they close on me, won't let no more. Pushing, shoving, get out of my way. Pushing, shoving, I'm late today. Pushing, shoving, there ain't no room. Train's now full, there's another one soon. Pushing, shoving, get out of my way. Pushing, shoving, I'm late today. Pushing, shoving, got a bad day ahead. Train's now full, so I'm going back to bed.
Love it.
That is superb.
That's really good, Dave.
Thank you very
So much Cat Stevens in that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very much Cat Stevens, very much Matthew and Son.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, I was just down south.
And I've been there as well.
Yeah, it was just travelling on the underground in London years ago when visiting a friend, and just seeing people jumping on the train, even though there was one due like about 2 minutes later. It was like, why are you all pushing like into us like a sardine can? Can't you just wait 2 minutes for the next one?
They don't, do they? I found that I don't like going to London, not because of the place itself, but because it's so full. And everyone is like you've just described in that song. They're in a hurry and they don't think there's other people around them. That the only person that matters is them getting their little 2
They don't
space.
care.
They don't, do they?
You want to be the first on the train.
Yeah, and then
they get
yesterday.
Then they know when they want to get off, and all of a sudden we're all in their way. How are we supposed to know that they're getting off at such and such a station?
Well, I used to go to London. Before I moved here to Hereford, I lived in a place called Stafford, which some of you may know, you may not know.
Yeah.
I know.
I lived up there for 10.5 years, and I used to go to London quite a lot because of my work. And I always used to catch the Liverpool train, funny enough. I used to come down from Line Street, and Stafford was always the last stop before London. So if you forgot, it still is. And if you've forgotten anything when you got on at Stafford, you've had it, because you're an hour down the road, and you know. And I always used to think to myself, how must that be if you've got on, or you're on the wrong place, or you've missed something. That's an hour and a quarter down the line at 120 mile an hour plus. You can't get off that train. Once you're on it, you're there.
Yeah.
Well, currently it's a worse problem if you're living in Warrington in Cheshire, because some of the trains to London from there, it's the next stop is London. So
yes, I've got a friend who lives in Wigan, so I know that part of the world quite well.
Oh, so Alban, it's your turn now, because
let's hear you, Alban. Nice to hear you.
Now you've had time to delve into the archives.
Well, I actually I've had another literary week because we're rehearsing for the Mayor of Casterbridge. So on Thursday we had a filmed bit in the Shire Hall where I had to do a few lines. And
where are you based, Alban? Where are you based?
Yeah, I was just about to say, Alban, before you do anything, just fill Paul in on. You're originally from our neck of the woods, but you're now way down south.
I was born with a stick of rock and a kiss me quick hat. I was born in Blackpool. I spent most of my working life in the northwest. And I lived in Southport and Formby, and taught in Chester, Bootle, St Helens, and then 4 years ago I moved out here to Dorset. So I'm in the Valley of the Piddle.
Right.
Puddle Town. Right. I'm missing my football because I'm a big Blackpool supporter, but Thomas Hardy's making up for the lack of football.
Yes. We hope that the Seasiders have a good season.
They did, and I went to Wembley and had a great time.
I'm sure you did, and you were a bit closer to get there this time.
We did, yeah. So I said, I'm in the new Hardy Players down here, so I have a couple of small parts in the production we're doing, which comes out in October. You were talking before about learning lines, and I have to do it just by constant repetition, talking to myself over and over again until they sink in. So I admire you songwriters and you live performers who can do that so easily. And the song that Brian sang, I'm sure it's from a musical, isn't it? The first song.
It is, yeah. It's an old song. I can't even remember the name of the musical. That you put me on the spot.
But one of the great things about the
it is. I love it.
The school I taught in St Helens is every year that they had a musical, and as a member of staff, sometimes they involved the staff, and I'd sweep up on the stage afterwards or prompt people, and occasionally they give me a small role.
Have it right, Alban. It's have it right. It's St Helens.
St Helens, aye.
St Helens.
Dimlets. Dimlets buys a bit in Wigan buys.
Yes.
And then one day the drama teacher, Anne Bryan, a wonderful director, offered me the part of Henry Higgins in My Fair Lady. A big mistake, because all the Year 11s knew my lines better than I did by the time of the Anyway, so my literary life is going ahead with the Mayor of Casterbridge, and then next week is the Thomas Hardy conference down here, and I'm doing a tour of Puddle Town for people, and then a coach tour a Tess coach tour. So that's keep me busy. And
well, isn't it nice that you can do it now?
Well, it is, yeah. I'm about to find out whether I can or not, but
no. But the fact that you can actually go out and do it, the fact that
it is.
They've unlocked the doors. You can get out.
I thought perhaps it might have been cancelled because of COVID, but it's not. So I'm very grateful for that. And then the week after, I'm off to Cornwall to lead a Poldark day.
Oh.
I wasn't with you last Monday because I was in Cornwall eating pasties and Poldark beaches.
Hey, they're the best pasties in the world, aren't they? From here.
Looking for Demel.
All the different layers.
You're a grockle.
I was a grockle. You know that the Cornish pasties have a very hard crust to them.
Yes.
And you probably know this story. The reason for that is because when they were digging for the tin and the copper, one of the byproducts was arsenic. So they had to have something hard to hold on to. So they never actually ate that.
No, the middle bit, you had the sweet on one side and savoury on the other.
Yeah. So when I was looking for something to read tonight, and it was just grabbed at the last minute, I'm afraid, I thought, well, I could read you a bit of Poldark, but then I thought, well, it's July the 4th, and I might stick my neck out and read a bit of the Declaration of Independence, because it contains one of my favourite sentences in the whole of the English language. It's 18th century, so it's a bit long sentences, so you may have to be patient. I just come on here really to listen to the live music, because I love live music. You know, it's magic to me what you do, so I appreciate that. But if I can read you a bit of the Declaration of Independence.
Please do.
Because
yes,
July the
absolutely.
4th was when it was signed in 1776. And today is also the day that John Adams and Thomas Jefferson died on the same day in 1826. So it's relevant for that.
I love it when you go into character with your voices, Alban.
Well, I'm not going to do my Yankee. I think that
I love it.
It would go
I'm
into
mesmerised when you do it.
It would go into a southern drawl if I wasn't careful. Anyway, so
well, you're in the south, so you might as well.
That's true. The deep south as well.
Yes.
Anyway, so if you'll bear with me, I'll read the Declaration of Independence, which contains that wonderful line, signed in Congress on July the 4th, 1776. It says, "The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation." And this is the most fantastic line in English literature, or the English language. "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world." And then he lists 29 abuses of power. I just think this is arguably relevant today as well. And then he ends with this bit. "We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." Which is 18th century.
It's a great,
absolutely brilliant,
great piece of writing,
read.
isn't it?
Super piece.
Yeah.
Very well read.
Great speaker.
You think back, what, 250 years, and to establish such a clear view of what was right at the time, and they've tried to, stick to it. It's only in the last 100 years that we've messed everything up.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can say that it's full of hypocrisy because they kept slaves themselves and so on.
Yeah, well,
and
I mean, that's something.
If you look at some of the history of America, it's never lived up to that.
It's like
They're
the
still
old
powerful
saying
words.
goes,
and still as relevant today, perhaps. So you don't have to read my Twitter account to see what I think.
Oh, your Twitter account is solid gold, Alban. Alban has a brilliant habit. Someone political will say something, and immediately below it, Alban comes up with a little remark or retort, and some of them are so on the money. It's hilarious.
Well,
Alban, while you're on, have I got news for you?
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, yeah.
like that.
I was just thinking, Alban, I wonder if you'd ever considered racing commentary.
Was I doing that very quickly?
No, you have no. The fact you weren't doing it quickly, you had a very even pace.
Right.
We talked earlier on about
I'm gonna treat you now before we go round and anyone else treats us. I played a track last week by a young duo called Visions of Albion.
Yes, you did.
And everyone liked it. So I thought, well, much as I could play you something new, which if time allows I will, I'm going to treat you to another one of theirs. So this is Samantha and Dan, Visions of Albion, lovely young couple, early 20s, writing together. They are a couple. Writing together, singing together, playing guitar and piano together. And this is another song off their debut EP, just called Visions of Albion. And the song is called Old Time Blues.
The sky's blue with shades of grey, and the sunlight's not creeping in one bit today. Overwhelming points of view and voices loud enough to shatter through any confidence left in me. No more defiance. I've become a shell of what I used to be, and now you tell me if I'd made my bed I'd lie in it without any excuses. You can try and justify things, but it makes you look stupid to me, and everyone around will see you're the best thing that never happened, the best thing that never happened to me. Get back up, dust my shoes, keep on walking to the old time blues. It's more than you would ever
Beautiful.
I hope you enjoyed that.
Beautiful.
Isn't she gold?
Beautiful.
Like Alison. Like Alison, she's just got such a simple, pure voice, hasn't she?
Harmonious, isn't it?
It's
I
just
like the way he kept us hanging on at the end there. Just to
Yeah.
hit, where's he going to hit that last chord? And
Yeah.
he did it. He did it beautifully.
It's lovely, isn't it? I mean, it's just the two of them and a guitar, really. I mean, they have got piano and a few other instruments on the album, which, Paul, I will genuinely send down to you so you can
just in your own time.
A good listen, and
yeah.
Because I know you can get it played on a couple of stations elsewhere, can't you?
I can find it.
Yeah, you can, can't you?
Right,
guys, I'm going to treat you. Well, if treat's the right word. This is a short poem I wrote. You know the way you.
I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this.
The clue is in the word "a short poem." Okay.
That's all right. That doesn't matter.
Now, I heard, you know, when you listen to the radio in the car and they talk to someone about something they've done. And they start talking about what they've done, and you listen, and then you realise they're only telling half the story. But the answer here is there's no one to tell the other half of the story. So here we go. Heard a story on the radio about 6 men lost at sea. Heard a story of 6 men who sunk a U-boat, said they had to. Heard a story on the radio about how 6 men survived. Heard a story of all the men that sank and died. Heard a story on the radio. 6 men lived to tell us why. Heard a story not told of those who stayed at the bottom of the sea.
Wow.
Oh, love it.
Wow,
that's great. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
The point is that, you know, they're talking about the terrible situation of the Germans creeping up on us, and we've got to be, you know, vigilant and stop them. And haven't they done a wonderful thing by getting rid of this U-boat? No one's talking about the people who are in the U-boat, and they were people. They had families. They lived
exactly.
And they're just left down there, you know, dead at the bottom of the sea.
Well,
you know,
it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because the Germans, we make a big thing every year, Remembrance Day, and quite rightly too. The Germans don't. They observe it. They observe a day. They don't observe that day.
No.
But they have a day that they put aside, and it's just, oh, this is this day. They just carry on with it. They don't make. It's like that's slightly altered what I was potentially going to do for you, but which is quite interesting, because you look at Gallipoli and all of that.
Yeah.
But you've just slightly altered what I was going to do for you, which is really interesting.
Well, I mean, I think we should immediately pass on and let you, you know, treat us to what you are going to do for us.
Well, you've sort of led me into it, really, and in a way. And this is a song written by a man called Eric Bogle, who's now a native Australian, but he's a Scotsman. And he wrote many songs. He wrote The Green Fields of France. He wrote As If They Know. He wrote all sorts of songs. And one of the songs he wrote was a song covered by so many groups all over the world. And this song is called The Band Played Waltzing Matilda.
Beautiful song.
And there'll be people who know it. And for those of you, is there anybody who doesn't know it, by the way?
I have heard it years ago.
I'll put it on mute and sing on this side of the wire.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll put me on mute, not you.
Yes, fair enough. That's fine. And if you don't mind, I will give you this song. I sang it for Zoe last week the first time. I think you'd never heard it before, had you? I don't think. But we're going to do it now. So here it is. When I was a young man, I carried me pack, and I lived the free life of the rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, I waltzed my Matilda all over. Then in 1915, me country said, son, it's time to stop rambling, there's work to be done. And they gave me a tin hat and they gave me a gun, and they shipped me away to the war. And the band played a waltzing Matilda as the ship pulled away from the quay. Amid all the tears, flag waving and cheers, we sailed off for Gallipoli. Oh, 'tis well I remember that terrible day when our blood stained the sands and the water, and how in the hell that they call Suvla Bay we were butchered like lambs at the slaughter. Johnny Turkey was ready, oh, he primed himself well. He rained us with bullets and he showered us with shell. And in 5 minutes flat, well, he'd blown us to hell. Nearly blew us back home to Australia. And the band played a waltzing Matilda as we stopped to bury our slain. We buried ours, and the Turks buried theirs, and it started all over again. Oh, well, those who were living, well, we tried to survive that mad world of blood, death, and fire. And for 10 weary weeks I kept myself alive, though around me the corpses piled higher. Then a big Turkish shell knocked me arse overhead, and when I awoke in my hospital bed and saw what it had done, Christ, I wished I was dead. Never knew there were worse things than dying. For no more I'll go waltzing Matilda all around the green bush far and near. For the hump tent and pegs, a man needs both legs. No more waltzing Matilda for me. They collected the wounded, the crippled, and the maimed. They shipped us back home to Australia. The armless, the legless, the blind, the insane, those proud wounded heroes of Suvla. And when our ship pulled into Circular Quay, I looked at the place where me legs used to be, and thank Christ there was no one there waiting for me, but to grieve and to mourn and to pity. And the band played waltzing Matilda as they carried us down the gangway. Nobody cheered, they just stood there and stared, and they turned all their faces away. So now every April I sit on my porch, I watch the parade pass before me. I see my old comrades, how proudly they march, reliving the dreams of past glories. I see the old men, all tired, stiff and sore, a weary old heroes of a forgotten war. And the young people ask, what are they marching for? And I ask myself the same question. And the band plays a waltzing Matilda, and the old men still answer the call. Year upon year, more old men disappear. Someday no one will march there at all. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, who Come a waltzing Matilda with me, and the ghosts may be heard as you pass by the billabong. Oh, come a waltzing Matilda with me.
Excellent.
Lovely, soulful.
Brilliant. It's a brilliant song.
Love it.
That's brilliant.
Well executed.
Fantastic.
It is brilliant, isn't it?
It's
I mean, there's something in those songs that tell stories about something, not just tell a story like relationships and whatever, but really tell a story about real events. I mean, Gallipoli, Gallipoli was truly horrendous, and 80% of the Australians who went over there died, didn't they?
Terrible.
And there's a line in that song which, if you've got a strange sense of humor, is actually quite funny, because it says, "The big Turkish shell knocked me arse overhead." That would actually sound quite funny to anybody. And I think he put it in there because he needed that release to say that this is what actually happened. And he probably did knock him arse overhead, because those shells, they didn't hang around. But it was just that element of, I mean, I've heard so many people sing it. Ronnie Drew did probably one of the best versions I ever heard. And we all know Ronnie for the gravel voice of the Dubliners and singing all the comical songs that he sang. But when he sang it, it was like, okay, he made a funny element sound serious, and you could take it seriously.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Alban,
very deep, wasn't it? Then
Alban's an aficionado of the First World War, and is at some point after the summer holidays he's going to do some readings and stories of Sassoon and a little bit more, aren't you, Alban?
Yeah, the war poet cuts your hair. I like him. Unlike the one who jumps out of airplanes, parakeets. Yeah, Secret Sassoon has always been one of my heroes. There's a Gallipoli connection with Thomas Hardy, and seeing as my grandchild says I'm obsessed by Thomas Hardy, I'll share that.
He's genuinely amazing.
he didn't have any children, did Thomas Hardy? But when he in his will, he wanted to leave everything to his second cousin's son, a man called Frank George. But unfortunately, Frank George was killed at Gallipoli, so he couldn't do it. Although at the beginning of the war, Thomas Hardy was he was used by the British government to write patriotic poetry, he soon changed his tune after a while and was very critical of it. He said, after 2,000 years of mass, we've gone as far as poison gas, for example. And he employed German prisoners in his gardens, because there was a prisoner of war camp in Dorchester, not far away.
I know it.
Which has nothing to do with anything, really. I just thought I'd throw that in.
No, it's a lovely connection.
It's a great little thing to share, though, Alban. Anyway, Brian, I found another piece of your making. So if you can bear with us on
Brian
this.
sing. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so here we go.
What we got?
Funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, yet you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? Well, don't your hair for me. Not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Today is Valentine's Day. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? Well, don't change your hair for me. Not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Today is Valentine's Day.
Brian.
That's what you call crooning.
Wow. Wow.
It's a great song, isn't it? It's quite a sad song, really, I think.
It is.
You took me by surprise there, Tony. I didn't know you. I'd forgotten all about that.
Ah, well, you see, this is what's called Big Brother is watching you see.
My God.
What I love is the fact you held your pitch.
Yeah.
And as somebody who, and I'm boasting when I say this, I'm fortunate of being blind. They always talk about being and I am totally blind. They always talk about you have heightened senses. Well, you don't really. You just learn to use the ones you've got properly. One of the ones I'm fortunate to have is perfect pitch. And it's quite an embarrassment, really, but I'm quite fortunate to have it. But you did. You held it beautifully. And it was lovely because the thing about it was you sang it a cappella. You sang it completely unaccompanied. So you had to keep your own pace, which you did. You didn't wander. It's dead easy to do that when you do something unaccompanied. As somebody who sings it a lot unaccompanied, it's dead easy to wander. You did a superb job on that.
Oh my God! Thank you so much. Thank you,
Brian. Honestly,
I'm just overwhelmed. Because you just do what you do.
Yeah,
you know, and I've spent that much time as a boy, and Tony knows what happened to my parents. He knows all that, and so I was spent a lot of time by myself. And these are the songs, you know, that really, really mean a lot to me. You know, and that's
proper songs that mean something and are written by, you know, Cole Porter, Irving Berlin, and people like that. I mean, they need people like you to share them for people like Dave and Paul and Zoe and I, who we weren't around when they were written. So we need them to be brought to us by someone like you who heard them when you were little. You know, I mean,
Tony.
That's the thing, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, and there aren't many people, from what I hear, that do it as well as you do. You
do, Brian. Honestly,
absolutely stunning. It was just like extremely amazing.
Yeah, it was, mate.
Yeah, no, it's
proud of it.
You know, you sang it beautifully, mate. Honestly, and you know,
the
worst case scenario is someone's got to come next. So I think I'll play a song by someone else.
Well, just to say before you do, Tony, just to say, if Francesca is listening in, she wants to be mighty proud, and I'm sure she is.
Oh, well said, Paul.
Because
really well done.
Yeah, well done, Brian.
No,
thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
I always think Brian sings with lots and lots of feeling, and it's that line from Simon and Garfunkel where he says, "I have my books and poetry to protect me." Well, I think songs can do that as well, can't they?
Yes, absolutely right.
Many memories. and can console you in your most stressful moments.
I mean, I've cried. So when I sing by myself, you know, if I'm feeling melancholy, I just cry.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
You know, I really do.
Johnny Ray made a career out of it.
Absolutely, and I love Johnny Ray. He was one of my heroes as a boy, Johnny Ray.
And he was deaf. He was totally deaf.
That's right. He had a hearing aid, didn't he? And I love Johnny Ray. You know, but yeah,
fabulous voice. But yes,
very emotional. Are these songs?
Yeah. No, you should be emotional. Nothing wrong with emotion. I always say to people, if the last 18 months has taught us anything, it has taught you to be free of spirit, emotion, and any impediment that you may have, and let that go.
Yeah.
Well said. No,
well said.
Spot on.
Well said.
Spot on, Paul. So before Dave or Zoe or Alban has to contribute again, I'm going to share another song for us. I think we'll have a little bit of an upbeat song. This is by a mate of mine from the Wirral. He's a young lad. He's 26. It's called Cal Ruddy. Released his debut album in lockdown, bless him. But he's playing a week Saturday in Liverpool to a sold-out audience because obviously numbers are limited. But he'll be playing a lot live over the summer. And if you want a good time, he's like the Duracell bunny, Cal. He's got so much energy. He's like his figure. And this is a great rock and roll song of his, written by him, performed by him, Rocket Science.
It's not rocket science, though we make it so hard. Why let life be easy when it can break your heart? If we keep running around and forget what we've learned, to know what we need is more love from the start. If we keep running around and forget what we've learned, to know what we need is more love from the start. If we keep running around and forget what we've learned, to know what we need is more love from the start. It's not rocket science, though I'm trying so hard. Why let life be easy when it can break your heart?
Playing heavy there. Playing heavy. Hi, Marvin.
If we keep running around and forget what we've learned, to know what we need is more love from the start. It's not rocket science, though I'm trying so hard. Why let life be easy when it can break your heart?
Got that classic ending, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Proper
bit of Dwayne Eddy there.
3-minute rock and roll single, Dave.
It's Neil Sedaka.
It's great, isn't it? He's
Neil
brilliant.
Sedaka.
For someone so young to be into music of the late 50s and 60s, it's brilliant, isn't it?
I tell you what, if I could get up there, I'm having my second jab next Saturday, so I may not make it. But if I could get up there, I'd be in to watch him like a shot.
He's great, Cal. I've got on my archives on Mixcloud.com. I've got a year's worth of live music shows that I did when I was at HCR. And Cal did a show for me, and Visions of Albion did, and John Jenkins did, Alison did too. You know, and Andy Hesford, who's not with us tonight, did one. You know, there's some great local artists in the Northwest, Dave, aren't there?
Absolutely.
And in fact, Dave, we didn't know you then. Otherwise, you could have come and done a show.
And then you're looking at
kind of being the man in the background.
Oh no! You're coming. You're coming.
You're coming to the fore. You're coming
forwards.
You are,
Dave.
You are.
Really
Mate. You've got a real good talent. And then you're looking at your people like Mary Helen, thing like that, which is. Again, all right, it's not Merseyside, but it's still the Northwest, and it's not Manchester, which is, I don't want to say too much, but it's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Choosing words carefully there, Paul.
Yeah.
Yes, always careful.
Zoe, down below me anyway. Have you got another piece you'd like to share with us tonight?
I have.
Excellent.
I don't know if you should call it poetry or flash fiction, but
that's absolutely fine. We don't mind. It's your creation. It is what it is.
Okay. Streaks across the sky, her ball and curled. She knew the end was near. She looked up, piercing eyes, now turned to water. Saw them stagger below, waiting with bags. The only seemed to show for a lifetime on earth. They wept, but tears ran dry through dry, cracking cheeks. They gather, stagger, swaying, fear etched from faces, as she takes the final bow, as greyness melts, steering the sky to eternal light.
I've not heard that one before. That must be new.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, poetry and flash fiction are the same thing in many ways. So they're just a short piece of encapsulating thought and feeling. I mean, you know, if you wanted it to go further, it stops being poetry or flash fiction. It becomes a short story or you know, a full-length piece of writing. And I think there's something, it's like songs. I mean, there's an art form to being able to get something of meaning into 2 or 3 minutes. You know, and poetry and flash fiction are very similar. I mean, I can't sing. I mean, Paul and Brian, Dave and Alban can all sing. I can't sing. So it doesn't matter anything I ever write.
Sing.
I'm not very good, mate, honest.
No, you can sing. You do it in your own way. Everybody can sing.
That's right.
Thank you, Paul.
Well said.
Very nice. Very nice to say.
It's like soldiering. Everybody has soldiering in them.
Yeah.
Everybody can be a soldier.
I always say everyone can draw. The amount of people that say I can't draw, and I go, you can.
Yeah. But no, there's something about allowing your voice
usually nil-nil.
Allowing your voice to be heard, theoretically accompanied by music. It's a brave thing. I mean, Dave, you've been performing live for what, 6 years? Is it now?
Oh, I wish I could remember how long it's actually been.
So it's more, yeah.
More, probably, maybe even less. I mean, it's.
But do you still find you're as nervous now as when you first started? I mean,
you should be.
Sometimes, definitely, yeah. It can depend on. It's whether you're playing alone or whether you're playing in a group, I think is one of the determining factors. Because sometimes there's a bit of comfort when you're supported by others on stage, whether to the point where you can at least be, as I just described before, in the background. So the attention is not solely upon yourself. So if you make a mistake, for example, you're just like, okay, no one heard that, carry on. But when you're up front and all eyes are on you, then you've got you overthink it more. So it's
there's a thing there though, Dave, whether it be singing, broadcasting, whatever you do, if you stop becoming nervous, that's game over. That's when you retire. You
absolutely right. Spot on.
Yeah. So we're going to put Dave on the spot then, because he's still got his guitar there.
He's got a guitar.
I can see it.
Fantastic.
I can see it. He's got his guitar with him.
Oh, I can hear it as well. Beautiful.
Oh yeah. So is this a new one, an old one?
A cover? It might be a cover.
It's both. I mean, I've played one of them to you before, but
yeah.
I remember you asking last week, Tony, about whether I've been writing still, and I gave a little bit of almost a politician's answer to that. Mostly because this one that I'm doing first kind of is still in the under construction phase.
Cool.
So I'll just do the bits that I'm actually still okay with, and then go on to the song which is complete, which I think I've played to you before.
No, well, that's great. That's great.
This first one, it's called, the latter one is called You'll Never Know, but this first one is called Statues.
Okay.
Go.
I don't know how, I don't know why. I'm not normal, but I have to try. I got to be honest, I got to be true. My eyes look away when I talk to you. Let me be open, let me be me. The reason I'm like this may be hard to see. I cannot explain, I cannot tell how I may be healthy, but I feel unwell. Here I stand like a statue. I really should try to talk to you. Here I stand, I know it's rude. I do prefer some solitude. Here I stand to open up. Got to find this will to stop. Here I stand, I will not walk. Got to smile and just try to talk. I've got to look, I've got to change, I've got to embrace this world so strange. I fear my actions, I fear my words, convince myself these thoughts absurd. Here I stand like a statue, I really should try to talk to you. Here I stand, I know it's rude, I do prefer some solitude. Here I stand to open up, got to fight this will to stop. Here I stand, I will not walk, got to smile and just try to talk. I won't hold back, not this time. It'll work out and I'll be fine. I am human, so are you. Stop overthinking the things I do. I try to relax, I try to unwind, get into a safe frame of mind. I feel nervous, I feel afraid, I'm asking myself why the heck I stayed. Just take it easy, just take it slow, don't be afraid of where things go. Enjoy this moment, enjoy this day. Met someone new, all will be okay. Here I stand like a statue, I really should try to talk to you. Here I stand, I know it's rude, I do prefer some solitude. Here I stand and open up. Got to fight this will to stop. Here I stand, I will not walk. I got to smile and just try to talk. Many times in my life, things don't go my way. It drives me completely mad. But even when I'm low, I know you'll be there to show me things are not so bad. In times of frustration, I know all will be okay. You help me to stand tall again with the words that you say. Put things in perspective, make it all so clear. Help me find my inner strength, face the things that I feel. You'll never know what help you are to me. I'll never know without you where I would be. We'll never know what lies ahead, let's see. But you'll never know what a friend you've been to me. Can't only say I'm grateful, don't feel that it's enough. You always save me from myself on days where I feel so rough. If you need me, then I'll be there. If you don't feel too good, to aid you when you are in need. For me, I know that you were. You'll never know what a help you are to me. I'll never know without you where I would be. We'll never know what lies ahead, let's see. But you'll never know what a friend you've been to me. You've always been the one to show that you can. Never letting go, even if you don't know the answer, you'll always be. You'll never know what a help you are to me. I'll never know without you where I would be. We'll never know what lies ahead, let's see. But you'll never know what a friend you've been to me.
Brilliant,
Dave, you have knocked the stuffing out of that. That is absolutely superb.
Honestly true. Yeah.
I mean, the second one I'd done before, but the first
you
one...
have, but you actually played the guitar this week as opposed to last week where you sort of tickled it a bit.
Thank
you very much, everyone.
That first one,
it's great, isn't
where'd you get that chord progression from? That's astonishing. That's like a John Denver style chord progression.
It's out of this world.
Great song,
probably two places. First off, Neil Young. And
yes.
And the other messing around with the guitar, really. I mean, Well, even I suppose Ray Charles to a degree, Hit the Road Jack, the chord progression in that. That descent, but the chorus was just mainly playing around with the thing and what sounded nice.
What I loved, the fact that there's two things I loved. The first, the fact that you were slightly off key with it, but it worked.
Possibly,
you kept it manageable. You really did. You put so much effort and thought into it. I'm knocked out by that. Well done. Well done.
Great. It's a great.
Well done, Dave.
Thank you, everyone. Very kind of you.
No, honestly, I mean, the two songs are so almost the same story told in two different ways. Actually.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, they're both drawn from the same experiences I've had in life, and the people who have helped me through the hardest times. I mean, my childhood wasn't really easy, or it very much had its ups and downs. So there's been a lot of moments where I've had negative moments like that, but also there's still been always people around me to help me get through them. And the first one was more toward the more, shall we say, problematic moments and rising above them. But then the second one is also more so about the people who helped me to be able to do that.
Positive song. It's very Dylan-esque.
I mean, they do work being one after the other, though. When you do get out to perform, I would keep them in that setup. Yeah, definitely.
The first one was a bit of a problem child sort of thing. There were moments where I was thinking, it went through a lot of reworks. I mean, both music and words, because I didn't want it to sound identical to the second one, but at least wanted to have a tonal similarity, so the same vibe was there.
It's quite catchy. I like it. Sorry.
No, go on, Brian. Go on.
No, I just like the way you say, you never know just how much you mean to me. It's very catchy.
It is catchy.
You never know. I like it.
I never really thought it as a catchy number.
Oh, well, you see.
I tell you something, Tony. In 2 weeks of being in this group, I've got a radio series.
Yeah.
The amount of stories out of this is, and I'm so proud of a certain young lady anyway.
Oh, brilliant.
And I can say that. And
of course
I don't know if she's blushing, but because I can't see it. But
no, she looks quite happy.
And I know that last week was a bit special for you, wasn't it?
For me? Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Do you want to?
Absolutely. It was.
Do you want to say something?
Because having been through an extremely tough time last year, where basically I ended up getting a stalker, but what felt like a lot longer than it should. Now really involved police involvement and stuff. So it means such a big difference being able to introduce them to the group and then not being those problems and just sort of being able to relax and not having to be sort of overthink everything.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean that's important.
You were a touch emotional last week, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, unfortunately it's something that happens to us all in small ways or big ways in life, isn't it? And we do just have to find a way of reaching out and linking to the people who care for us. And
well, Zoe did to me. That's how I met Zoe. She reached out to me.
Yeah, I think
I was going through a tough time.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem is everybody is their own worst critic in a lot of things, both in life in general, and they need people close to them to at least help them see that there is good that they do in life.
Or strangers actually can be the best people you ever come across because they don't know you. So
You're right with that. There is something about the kindness of strangers, and it does happen that someone you don't know will suddenly put their arm around you or buy you something or
I feel so close to all of you and this is my second week in the group.
Nice.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like I genuinely feel like I've known you for ever and a day.
How nice! How nice!
Well, we'll have to do it again next week, won't we?
Well, we will.
Yeah.
We will.
Absolutely.
You know, it's fantastic, and I'm so humbled that you've allowed me to come.
Oh no,
this
honestly,
circle.
this is what, you know. I mean, when this started back in,
I'm a foreigner,
January,
remember?
No, you're not.
A friend of mine, George,
One
and
of
his
us.
wife Julie, who have not been on for the last couple of weeks because they're now busy with work. But you know, they were saying, you know, we should just all find a way of getting together and talking. You know, whether or not it's only on the internet through Zoom, or whether or not it you know, it can be formatted and go out.
I want to get up there. I'm coming up to Liverpool.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Definitely.
More
Absolutely.
than welcome.
Liverpool doesn't know it yet. But
We should arrange a big meetup.
Well, it is. I mean, days are getting nearer when people can travel and meet people. I mean, obviously, we've still
you're
got to be
not kidding.
careful.
There's a young girl I've not met yet. So
You will be. You will be. You will be. Anyway, listen, guys, we're about done now because got to try and keep
already.
Yeah, no, I've got to try and keep it.
I turn into a pumpkin at 10 o'clock.
Don't worry. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the